just got shot, and he in ICU. I say, 50 what?
50 finally broke it down, told that story about how Gene Deal really saved him, and everybody's jaw just dropped. Real talk, why ain't we never heard none of this before? This was major, for real. This wasn't just no little hint or some side-eye. Nah, this was one of them moments that could have shut the whole thing down, wiped him out before the world even knew his name. He said straight up the only reason he's still breathing, the only reason he made it out that room, is 'cause Gene Deal moved at the exact right second. No hesitation. Gene made a call, a hard one, and that was that. Hearing 50 tell it, you felt that. It wasn't no interview answer. It was heavy. You could hear it in his voice, see it in his face. That was some personal stuff, something he'd been carrying with him, holding it close for years and years. He kept that one locked away.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually shot me is dead. And the guy who paid him got life in jail.
Got life in jail.
You gotta understand why this hit's different. You gotta clock the era. This wasn't just about Fifth being another rapper trying to get on. Nah, at that time, he had static on both sides of the fence. He had real, serious enemies in the streets, the kind that don't just talk. And he had snakes in the industry, people in the business who wasn't playing fair, they was playing for keeps. Back then, that whole game wasn't safe. It wasn't just about record sales and video shoots. It had a shadow to it, a real danger you had to move through every single day. That's why a dude like Gene Deal mattered so much. He wasn't no artist, he wasn't trying to get a verse or a feature. He was a protector, a shield. He was from that world, so he understood it on a cellular level. He knew all the angles, all the setups. He knew how to read a room, how to spot a problem before it even took its first step. He could see the trick before they even pulled the card. In that environment, a man like that wasn't just security, he was the difference between walking out the door and being carried out.
The day 50 Cent was shot, I was walking through, and BMF was there too. Meech and them was there too.
Who has more cred than you, living after being shot 9 fucking times?
I don't know what the criteria are for street credibility. Or
That's
if
it.
If there's something that creates more merit for you. I looked at that experience as something that was unfortunate that I had to experience.
I forget, why the guy shot you 9 times? Was it drugs or something?
It was paid to do it.
He was paid to do it.
So when Gene came to him with that warning, it wasn't no gossip, it wasn't no barbershop talk. It was facts. Gene was deep in the mix. He knew exactly what was moving behind the scenes, the conversations nobody was supposed to hear. He'd seen the outcome before. He'd seen what happened to other artists who brushed off that kind of talk, who thought they was untouchable. He sat Fifth down and laid it out with no chaser. He told him straight, it ain't just chatter. These people ain't just running their mouths, they're putting plans together. They're figuring out how to stop your momentum before you ever really get started. And at that time, Fifth was young, hungry, but he didn't fully grasp the level of the danger he was in. He was thinking about the music, the come-up, while they were thinking about something else entirely.
Karma. Explain to me again why this guy was hired to shoot you 9 times.
Well, you was paid because someone, felt like that I would potentially do something to them if they kept going in the direction that they were going.
And you are tough.
When 50 finally told the story, he made sure we all understood this wasn't just a friendly heads-up. Gene Deal was moving on some real, verified information, straight from inside the machine. He'd been around, he'd seen how that green-eyed monster, that industry jealousy, don't just lead to bad reviews, it leads to real, physical danger. So Gene pulled him to the side and got dead serious with him. He didn't sugarcoat a thing. He laid it out plain. Some of the faces around you, they ain't your friends. They're watching your come up, feeling threatened by your wave, and they're actively planning on doing something about it. See, at that time, 50's stock was blowing up. He was changing the whole sound of the game. That raw, unfiltered talent of his was making some very powerful, connected people extremely nervous. And Gene, from his experience, recognized that old, dangerous pattern. He knew right then that Fifth wasn't just facing competition, he was in real, serious trouble.
I know that Irv Gotti and them had put it out there like they was a part of it and they was gonna do it that night, the day at the meeting.
Gene saw the danger was real, no doubt. So he got specific with the warning. He told Fifth straight up which people to stop dealing with, which spots to stop moving through. He gave him names, faces to cut loose, and told him to stop putting his business in the street, to keep his next move to himself. Gene was speaking from a place of having seen this movie before, and by putting him on game, he was putting his own self on the line. And Fifth listened. He fell back from certain studios, cut ties with certain homies who had love in their mouth but hate in their heart. The moment Fifth made those moves, everything changed. Folks started acting funny, showing their whole hand, proving without a doubt that Gene's intel was 100% correct.
We got up there, we came in and shit. You had Navy SEALs with it, 2 in all directions. Probably about 6 of them.
When you get hurt that bad, either your fear consumes you or you become a bit insensitive. So just after...
Which one was it for you?
There was a point that I was afraid.
Afraid?
Yeah, following that.
Fifth kept telling it. You realize Gene didn't just save his life that night, he saved everything that came after. Fifth could have easily walked right into a setup with no way out. And the real thing about it is Gene never went around boasting, never asked for a reward or his name in the credits. He just held that story, kept it close for years and years until now. See, Gene had lived through the roughest, most dangerous era in the whole culture. He'd seen up close what happens when big money and serious power clash in these streets. So when he started noticing those same old patterns forming around 50, all the alarm bells went off in his head. He knew he couldn't just watch it go down. Fifth described him as a dude who could just sense the temperature of a room, feel a threat before it showed itself. He could look at a person and know if they were lying, or clock if a meat was safe or not. So when he saw all those red flags popping up around 50, he moved. He stepped in and spoke up, and the key thing is, he didn't have to. That's what makes the whole thing hit different. It wasn't about a job or a contract. That was personal. That was one man looking out for another, straight up.
50 Cent needs therapy. I don't care if you agree with the rationale. And 50-50, he gonna stand in it. He gonna stand strong in it.
I look at it from both sides of it.
And the truth of what Gene was telling him came out real quick. When Fifth started distancing himself from the cats Gene named, the whispers started reaching him. He began hearing about the moves they were trying to make, the plans to sabotage his whole career before it could even take off. Some were plotting to get him caught up in street drama he had nothing to do with, trying to tie his name to problems just to see him fall. That's when it really clicked for 50. He saw he'd been moving with people who, deep down, didn't want to see him win. They were smiling in his face but plotting his downfall. Gene's warning did more than just shield his body, it armored his mind. It schooled him on how to move, who to let in his circle, how to be strategic with his trust. That whole I don't trust nobody persona he's famous for? That wasn't just for the records. That got built in moments like this, from lessons like the one Gene gave him. Gene earned Fifth's ultimate respect by giving him the raw truth when everybody else was still playing checkers. Fifth said that honesty from Gene showed him the clear line between real loyalty and the fake kind. Real loyalty looks out for you when you're not even in the room to see it. Fake loyalty is only there for the victory party, not for the war. Gene chose to protect him, period. And Fifth explained why he held the story for so long. Back in the day, talking about it could have sparked new fires, opened up old wounds that were better left closed. But now? Enough time has passed. He wanted to put that respect on Gene's name while the man is still here to see it, not in some eulogy after he's gone. You can see the results of Gene's decision in Fifth's entire legacy. Without that man speaking up, 50 might have just become another tragic footnote, another what could have been. But because Gene broke the code of silence, we all got to witness the empire get built. We saw G-Unit take over the world. We saw him conquer movies, TV, the business game. All of that traces back to one man who refused to be a silent witness. 50 said he'll never forget how Gene spoke to him. There was no fear in his voice. It was all certainty, the tone of someone who genuinely cared about what happened to him next. When you're young and hungry, fighting for your spot in a world that wants to eat you alive, that kind of genuine care. That's the rarest currency there is. That's why, to this day, 50 calls Gene a real one. By the time he finished telling the story, the fans were shook. It hit everybody just how close we all came to losing one of the biggest stars this culture has ever seen. And the wildest part? Gene Deal never once used this story to get clout or get a bag. He held it down, protected that secret just like he protected the man. That right there? That's the textbook definition of true loyalty. 50 Cent sharing this ain't just him reminiscing. It's a reminder that behind every icon, there's usually somebody who helped steer the path when the road got dark. For Fifth, that somebody was Gene Deal. His honesty, his courage, it stopped a tragedy in its tracks and made space for one of the greatest careers in music history to unfold. If you're feeling these stories, these updates from behind the scenes, then go ahead and show some love, hit that like button on the video, it helps more than you know. And you should definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing as this whole situation continues to unfold.